Blog Talk Radio.
This episode of Video Marketing Madness is made possible by AWeber. AWeber, the easy way to do email marketing and newsletters for your clients, collect leads, and share your information. Check it out today and see the bonuses that we have available by heading over to raythevideoguy.com/AWeber. And on today's show, we've got a very special guest. It is the fireman himself, Mike LeMoine, who's going to talk to us about local marketing.
Yeah, very good.
He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the video guy, yeah, Ray the video guy.
It's the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy, and I'm Steve Sleeper. You can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Video Marketing Madness. That's the radio fan page. Get plenty of useful tips and news of the week. Little hint, go over to the landing page, and if you've already liked it, then like a few of the articles as well, because then it'll show up in your news feed. And then Ray's Facebook mastermind group is groups/online video marketers. Get views for videos and questions answered. We're live Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Join the conversation at 818-369-1423. Ray's video marketing tip of the week is coming up at the end of the show. And Fireman Mike is our guest. If you're an old traffic geyser guys like me and Ray, you know who he is. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it's good to have you on the show. Now, are you still a fireman?
No, I left the fire department a little bit over a year ago.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't retire. That's always the next question. Oh, you retired so young? No, I left. I resigned. And it was really just getting to the point. Our business was doing really well. Very blessed there. Had the fire department and then my family, and it was really like the three main areas. Well, I can't cut out my family, and so the business was doing too good, and the fire department it was time for me to kind of step away from there and apply my focus, more on my business and really just looking at the long term. Obviously, as a firefighter, great benefits, great, retirement, but, looking at the long term of what I can do in my business, I really felt that was a better proposition for us. And so I, made the hard decision and walked away.
Well, there you go.
I always thought it was funny, Mike, trying to picture you leaving the house every morning and walking past all your employees going, okay, I'm going to work now. See ya.
Yeah. No, that's it. And, I loved a lot about the fire department, but just like any, and it was the greatest job in the world, in my opinion. But, as any job comes politics and especially government work, it wears on you pretty quick. So
right. And just so you know, my wife actually was an EMT back in our old town, volunteer EMT, and she actually worked for the county doing all the scheduling and all that kind of stuff. So I feel your pain on that regard. So,
absolutely. Yeah, and for those of you that don't know, Mike owns a company called Maverick Web Marketing in Albuquerque. And he was one of the first online marketers to use online video to drive traffic and leads. And this goes back to the initial Traffic Geyser days back in 2008, 2009, something like that. And
back when Traffic Geyser actually did stuff with local marketing.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, when Traffic Geyser, when it was. What Ray said. You can usually get videos on page one of Google, and Google will allow you to do that. So, yeah. So, well, hey, why don't we get into news of the week, and then we'll chat with you, Mike. And like I said, feel free to interrupt at any time. Ray always does.
News of the week.
Okay, that sounded weird on Skype. I guarantee it'll sound fine on air.
We've learned. Yes.
Yeah, as we've learned. We think things are breaking up and stuff, and then we listen back to it, and it sounds like it's, people going, well, it sounds fine. What's wrong with you guys? And I just say it's the plate in my head. So, okay. Do I sound okay?
You sound luscious.
Okay. Do I look okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. This is from SearchEngineWatch.com. FTC report details how Google manipulates search market. And inadvertently disclosed, it says this in quotes, investigative report from the Federal Trade Commission provides new details about how Google has manipulated the search market to favor its own services. Part of the FTC Google report has been obtained and examined by the Wall Street Journal, which concludes the tech giant's actions have resulted and will result in real harm to consumers and innovation in the online search and advertising markets.
You know, it's funny that they say this because Will and I were actually going to do a video at one point in time, and we were going to film ourselves calling Google and offering them search engine optimization because when you search for a search engine in Google, they don't show up.
Oh.
So we're going to film ourselves calling them and offering them SEO services to get found on Google, but we never quite did it. I don't know why we didn't do it, but we should have.
By the way, Will is noted comedian William Pettit.
Yes. Oddly enough, the number one search engine when you search for Google for search engines is Dogpile, which I didn't even know was still around. I haven't looked or seen that one in years.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
there you go.
That'd be good. Yeah, I should. That'd be a good video. We could put the audio on the radio show.
Might as well.
Okay. Google deployed anti-competitive tactics to maintain and enhance its monopoly.
Okay, can we address one thing here? You know, I'm really getting tired of this monopoly stuff. Everybody in all these news stories, they're always, they're using their monopoly, but they don't have a monopoly.
No, that's right.
You know, as long as Bing exists, they don't have a monopoly. It's ridiculous to think they do, especially when Bing is, you know, getting 30% of the searches. You know, but even if they're getting 2% of the searches, there's 20 other search engines that aren't Google out there. So it's not a monopoly, and it's sad that people constantly use these words to try and attack certain businesses. And I'm not trying to defend Google per se, but it just seems very strange.
It's not Standard Oil at the turn of the last century. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it seems, too, that people get so blown out of shape, like Google's favoring themselves. Well, look, if you owned a gas station and a car lot, you'd fill your cars at your own gas station. I mean, that's not really news. Of course they're favoring themselves. Why wouldn't they? They own the universe that they run, you know? To me, that's not news. That's why I think it's valuable for us to use Google properties to do marketing, because they're going to favor themselves.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it says here. The report says they adopted a strategy of demoting or refusing to display links to certain vertical websites in highly commercial categories, you know, meaning that it altered the search algorithm to benefit itself. That's what that means. Although it does say they illegally took content from Yelp and Amazon.
Legally took from Yelp or Amazon.
Yeah, but it doesn't. Well, for example, the FTC found that Google used Amazon sales rankings to rank its own items. When Amazon asked them to quit doing it, they threatened to remove them from the search results. Google did.
Hey, Google wins.
In addition, Google prevented websites that were using its search platform from working with Bing and Yahoo. You know, I'm not seeing anything that doesn't go along the lines of what Mike just said. You know, I mean, if you own a gas station, you're going to fill up your car at your own gas station. I mean,
no, I agree. I mean, I don't see why it's such a big shock to everybody out there.
I blame Obama. Yeah. Net neutrality? Yeah, right. Yeah. Why would you want to take that on? I mean, why would you want to police that? Control, I understand, but it's a nightmare.
Well, I don't know. It's still a mystery as to what they're actually planning on doing, because they've kind of hidden, done a good job of hiding what they plan on doing with it. But
I think Ben Carlson's right, and I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not like Mr. Right-wing conservative, but I'm right of center. Okay, but people that are somewhat left of center, I'm okay with them. It's fine, But I think Ben Carlson is right in that. It's not about providing health care. It's about control. It's not about net neutrality. It's about control.
No, I agree with that. I do believe they are attempting to take control of things, there's no doubt.
Mm-hmm. It's just the first step in that direction.
Yes.
And, I believe in giving to Caesar what is Caesar. I mean, I travel. I try to drive the speed limit, especially when you get to be my age. It's not difficult to drive under the speed limit, the old man syndrome. But, I have respect for cops and firemen. I have respect for authority, But, by the same token, don't try to put some BS control over me,
Yes.
My brother, who was a career Navy man, said, you're probably not Navy or Army material. Or Marines or Coast Guard. You'll get drummed out right away, run the other way. The Vietnam War is over. This is a Vietnam War ended. I'm dating myself, but Vietnam ended my senior year in high school. So, although I have respect for people that can do that. So, anyhow, this is news of the week, not news and commentary. Okay, this comes from eMarketer, one of my favorite newsletters. Mobile will account for 72% of U.S. digital ad spend by 2019.
Yeah, that's some interesting stuff, no doubt about it.
Yeah, they're saying next year is going to be the tipping point where mobile ad spending is going to surpass desktop. And desktop's still going to remain a force. It's just going to be flat. The growth is going to be in mobile. 2015, it's going to increase 50%. And account for 49% of digital ad spending. And then 2019, 72.2%. Next year will be the tilting point. So, of note.
Indeed.
Hilton uses Google hotel ads to entice new customers. Hilton Hotels is seeing significant bumps in conversion rates and ROI by integrating Google hotel ads into its advertising budget. So hotel ads focuses entirely on reaching travelers as they plan their trips. Hotel ads appear across devices wherever travelers might search on Google properties, including Maps and then search in Google+. Hotel ads use a limited number of words to list amenities and specific offers. We talked about this, Ray, when it first came out a couple of years ago.
We sure did.
And this is quoting Dustin Bomar, who's the Vice President of Digital Acquisition at Hilton. He says that the hotel ads brought the chain new business, which was really important, more important than simply increasing overall ROI. So I always stayed at Hamptons Hamptons or Holiday Inn Express. The nice thing about Hampton was you got the Hilton points. So when you went on vacation, you could stay at a nice Hilton or something.
Nicer one, yep.
Yeah. And Hamptons were fine. I mean, for the business traveler, geez, it was fine.
Oh, they're very nice, yep.
Yeah. Got free internet, free breakfast in the morning. So, let's see. This is from Search Engine Watch. I think this one before was from Search Engine Watch. Yep, both of these. But anyhow, Yahoo's search share on the decline. So they got a bump from being the Firefox default. They were up to 13% in January, but it's starting to go back down again in February.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah. Weren't they the number one search? Well, they were the number one search.
Oh, yeah.
Not that long ago.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it was a long time ago now, but I remember when Yahoo was big before anybody even really knew what this Google thing was.
Yeah. Well, yeah. 10 years ago it was the number one search. I mean, certainly. I read some graph that's showed who was number one over the course of the last 20 years of the internet. Excite was number one at one time.
Oh yeah, I remember those days.
I remember my first email at Excite.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good thing they turned down the partnership with the guys at Google. That worked out well for them.
Excite and Hotbot.
Yeah. Oh, I remember. And Lycos. Yeah, Lycos. YouTube interactive cards. Ray brought that up last week. I knew nothing about it. I have since played around with it. If you go to the edit function on YouTube, right next to annotations is cards. And RealSEO.com has a really good guide to YouTube interactive cards, the future of annotations. And if you go to the radio station fan page at Facebook.com/Video Marketing Madness, I posted the article there. I bookmarked it and put it into my how-to file. It's a great article on how to use cards.
Yes, it's not difficult.
No. It's not a very long article either.
Yeah, the big thing with cards isn't even so much the functionality, such as what button to push and how to push it and all that kind of stuff. What really is the big thing with that is learning how to use the product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's a big part of it. And there are so many uses. In fact, before we got on the show, I was putting together some information specifically about that because it is so easy to use. Now, the only thing I would say that really I wish they would do slightly differently is the time limit. If you have the card, what do they call it? I forget what they call the little call out that they put on there. If you have it come in at 2 minutes into your video, well, it only stays up there for 30 seconds or 20 seconds or whatever it is, and then it goes away again. It does leave that little, the little icon with the letter I in it that you can click on, but it's very small, especially on bigger screens. But that's my only real comment about that is the fact that it doesn't stay. You can't say, okay, I want it to be for these 2 minutes. Have that up there and then go away. That kind of.
Yeah, that's your only beef. Yeah, that's your only.
Yeah. But my fear, however, is that they keep referencing it as the next level of annotations, and some people have even said this is to replace annotations. I really hope it doesn't.
Yeah, me too.
Only because these cards are great, but I think they're great in addition to the annotations because the annotations have so much flexibility of what you can do with them that I really hope they don't go away. Obviously, the big problem is they're not mobile friendly.
Yeah, right, right. Well, and I'm doing both. I can't say I've done cards correctly yet, but I'll get to practice today because I always take the audio of the show and do a YouTube feed on it. So,
sure. I mean, I just see a lot of great possibilities with the cards. Now, the other limitation is you can only have 5. In a video. Mm-hmm. But if you think about this, imagine that you're a plumber and you're talking about your plumbing service. Well, you could have your card pop up and it could say, get a coupon now, and literally have a picture of a coupon there that they can click on and claim the coupon or whatever it happens to be, or a restaurant or, things of that nature. And the great thing is, this is where the advantage over annotations comes in. In annotations, if you wanted to do that and you put a coupon into your video, uploaded your video and did an annotation, well, that's there forever.
Yeah.
With the cards, you could just reference the idea that you got a coupon, and you could change that coupon every day, every week, every month, whatever it happens to be, and still use the same video. So that's a huge advantage to it. And I think that if you offer multiple services, having those cards where you can reference, hey, check out our 3 product lines, and the cards could be your 3 product lines and things like that. It's just, there's a lot of good versatility to it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think too what we'll see is, I think people will become very creative with cards, and really start making, because it seems to me from the limited amount of reading we've done, and we're testing some stuff now, but they're really just trying to make videos more interactive. And I think what we'll see is we're going to see some super creative people come out with very interactive ways to use cards, and then the rest of us will, go, oh, I could take a couple of those ideas and make my videos quite a bit better, utilizing this service. But, yeah, there's a ton of great things that it seems like we'll be able to do with them over time.
And based on the 0.5% of people on YouTube that have figured out how to use annotations at this point, I'm assuming it's going to be the person who comes out with the creative card stuff is going to do quite well, because nobody is going to be using cards for quite a while, I think. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's worth using.
Oh, it definitely is. It's definitely got its position. Like I said, I just hope it doesn't replace the annotation.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
Me too.
And I don't think it will. I know they say, some people have said it is. I don't think it will, only because they've got, hundreds of hours of videos uploaded every hour onto YouTube for the last 5 years.
With annotations.
With annotations. I can't see them going, 90% of our 800 billion videos now no longer the annotations work. So,
well, that was the same thing. I had people worried that because Google Plus, was breaking up, that it was going to affect Google Plus Local, and I'm like, it's not going to. Not when Google's looking at rolling out sponsored Google Plus Local ads. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, that's the one thing that's not going to go. They might change the name of it again for the 15th time.
Well,
in fact, they already did, but Google My Business now.
I can't remember the names. I still call it Google Places,
Yeah.
Hey, Ray, you got any news?
Oh, not really. No.
Okay. All right.
And now for something completely different.
Yes, and now for something completely different. I don't have any news because all I do every day is unload boxes. And
unpack. Yeah. Do what Carrie says.
Exactly. That's right. I'm a good soldier.
Yes. As are all married men if they want to stay married.
Yes, there we go. So, as we mentioned at the top of the show, we've got a very special guest, and this is a guest that goes back, like we said, quite a few years ago to the old days of Traffic Geyser before they decided to focus completely on books, which I don't still quite understand. But anyway,
I can't read, so I don't understand.
Exactly. Well, you don't have to read; you just have to write. So, and you can get a ghostwriter.
That's right. That's right. I forgot about that. I stand corrected.
Our guest is the fireman himself, Mike LeMoine. I guess I can't really say former. I guess you're still a Traffic Geyser all-star, right? I don't think they'll take that away from you. So,
I think I get to keep that.
Oh, so I've got was a Traffic Geyser. I can change that to the present tense.
Yeah, it's like being a best-selling author. You for the rest of your life, you still get to say you're a Traffic Geyser all-star, even though I don't think Traffic Geyser cares about you anymore, or anybody that's doing local businesses, unless you're writing a book at the same time. But the all-star himself, Fireman Mike LeMoine. Mike, welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I look forward to kind of sharing and talking to you guys. And I was so concerned coming onto the show, like I haven't done a radio show in a while, and then now that I know kind of the way this is going to go, I feel very comfortable with you guys. It's just like sitting at the firehouse. I'm not too worried anymore. So
yeah,
it's just crazy.
We're pretty loose. Yeah. Yeah.
Just insane people rambling for an hour. All right.
Couple of mentally ill guys having fun.
Thank you, technology.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons we wanted to have you on, of course, is because, we do a lot of talk on here about local business marketing with video and with other things as well, but typically with video. And you were one of the first big, big all-stars, like we said, in that niche. And, I actually, when I first got involved with Traffic Geyser, you were one of the all-stars that got to speak, and you were kind of like it seemed like you were on stage every 2 minutes talking about all this great stuff that you were doing. And so we wanted to have you on to talk a little bit about where things have gone for you and where things have gone in the industry itself. So for anybody who doesn't know who Mike is, Mike, why don't you kind of tell them a little bit about your business and what it is you do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, as mentioned, I was a firefighter, and what happened is I was one of the youngest paramedics in the state, and when you're, the young guy with all the knowledge but no real street experience, they kind of partner you up with the older guys so you don't kill anyone. Well, I very quickly realized that in the fire department industry, what happens is after you've done your training and your truck checks, you're just kind of waiting for a call, and people, eat, sleep, and play video games, which sounds like a lot of fun, but not when you're 20 years old and don't have enough money. And so I'm like, I got to do more than this. And so I just basically started messing around on the internet and selling on eBay and doing some stuff. And it came to be where a friend who owned a local business asked, hey, you do some internet stuff. Can you help me with my business? And I go, no, because I would never do that. Don't want to hurt your business. And he goes, no, I promise you're not going to mess it up. Let's give this a shot. And we just started doing some stuff that, we had learned of building a list and stuff from doing stuff on eBay and had a little bit of success. And so then it was like, wow, we can do this for businesses. And so we started just, in very simple stuff like building websites and getting people to leave an email. And then I came across Traffic Geyser, and I was like, wow, there is like a system here that we could do marketing for businesses. And so since we were kind of in that realm, started, looking at what Traffic Geyser was doing and signed up. And ultimately what I ended up doing was created a video and got it ranked on page 1 of Google, driving leads for a local business. And I got my first non-friend client because once I started getting leads in this industry, I basically put a video up and said, look, I'm getting more leads than all of you combined. I don't want to do what you do, but I'd be happy to partner with the right person. As you can see, I've emailed every single person here, and the first one to call me that I think I would like working with, we'll work together, and everybody else will be shut out. And that was right before Thanksgiving, and literally the day before Thanksgiving, I guess Thanksgiving Eve, if you will, I met with a local contractor, and he hired me on the spot for $5,000. And I was like, whoa, this is really cool, because $5,000 is more than I made in an entire month at the fire department. And so we started doing what we were doing and had success. And then that's when I got on Traffic Geyser's radar, where they're like, hey, come teach people kind of, who you are and what you do. And so I got some notoriety there and became friends with, those guys. But we continue to just build our business. I was one of the guys who, a lot of times that happens and people tend to go off into the info marketing space or do a bunch of things. And we still do that, but we decided to continue to build our business. And so what went from where we started, which was shooting videos, putting them on YouTube, getting them ranked to drive leads, has now turned into, we have 3,500 square foot of office space. I have people who come in every day. We have 2 full video production studios, and we use video as a communication tool, as a marketing tool, as an education tool. And we still put videos on YouTube. We still try to get them ranked. Obviously, that's not like it was back in the day. A little bit more difficult, but video is still, I remember when I got started, I go, this is the year. Video is going to blow up. We're well positioned. And that was like 5 years ago. And I'm still saying, this is the year. People are going to get video. They're going to understand how it can be utilized. And it just, more and more people are using video, but it's such a small fraction of, local businesses, medium-sized businesses, even national businesses who are so underutilizing the power of video. And so video is a component of everything we do in our company for marketing. But what we've really done is we've gotten really good at how do you use video in multiple ways, because I think there's a very large group of people who were video marketers, and as stuff started not ranking as well on Google, they basically thought the game was over. And I totally disagree. I think there's a ton of other uses for video, and to be able to really get an ROI for clients, to really be able to be the leader in an industry using video. And it's not all about ranking on YouTube or on Google anymore,
Yeah, and what I find, and it is obviously, it's gotten a lot tougher in the bigger cities. But what I find still, and this is what amazes me, is in some of the smaller ones, it's just as easy as it used to be. I've had videos even in the last couple of weeks that for a local a smaller local city are number one on page one in 2 hours still.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a viable thing out there, but obviously it has gotten a lot tougher. And, for whatever reason, which is kind of sad. You would think that Google would be featuring more of the videos, and they're actually featuring less than they used to. But, it's definitely a viable thing. Now, let me ask you this. You said you started out where you just kind of contacted a bunch of the businesses and said, hey, whoever calls me and I want to work with is going to get this. Mm-hmm. Are you still doing that type of stuff at all, or have you moved beyond that sort of a client gathering tool?
Yeah, we don't typically do that anymore. We do have pages that we rank, and we now sell the leads. We own the asset, though. So the difference is when I was broke as a firefighter, I needed the money all right away. So that's what we did, and we sold the systems, if you will. Now we have the systems, and we drive traffic and sell the leads to those systems. And that's just a small subset of our business. What we did really well in the beginning is we shot a ton of videos on everything you can imagine. And so to this day, those videos still drive leads for us. I also speak quite a bit on marketing. We do a daily web video show for our company. We call it the Maverick Minute, where I got frustrated looking at what we were doing in social media as a company. And our social media page was basically, links to Mashable, links to real SEO, links to, search engine land. And we were using the scrapers and just kind of doing that and calling it social media. And, I started really thinking through our own marketing, because we were just doing it to say we were doing social media. And I go, this is ridiculous. The type of people that I want to hire us aren't going to be caring about what's on, search engine land or Mashable. They want me to care about what's on search engine land or Mashable.
Right.
And so we said, look, we have the ability to use video. Let's come up with a social media content. So we ended up coming up with what we call the Maverick Minute, which is a daily 1 minute kind of web video show where we give tips and tricks. We just share our knowledge. And so that has brought us very good exposure and brings us clients as well. And so, we continue to do all kinds of marketing, but a lot of it comes back to video. But we don't do it necessarily selling the asset anymore.
Nice. Now, let me ask you, just to retouch on that a little bit, because you said you're selling the leads, and I that is the one thing that I've always kind of avoided. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you why, because I'm lazy. And I know that that's a lot of work. So or at least it appears to be a lot of work, and from some of the people I've talked to, it seems to be a lot of work. How are you managing all of that when you obviously you must be ranking a site that's bringing in a lead for, let's say, chiropractic, mm-hmm. and you're selling it off to chiropractors. Now, when you're selling those leads off, do you have somebody that's just dedicated to doing specifically that, or how does that end up working?
So what we do is we only sell the lead to one person. So unlike, Home Advisor or some of the others, we basically partner with one person and sell them the leads. And what we do is we use a tracking number. And if the phone rings, it's that is a viable lead for the most part. There's circumstances where people don't stay on very long, or it's really not. So if they stay on for more than 30 seconds, then we count that as a viable lead, and they pay us for that phone call. And it is a lot of work, but we've kind of gotten to the level where because I have a team, I needed stuff for them to do on some days, and so we're like, well, let's start building our own stuff and doing our own stuff, and so we've been able to do that. And then it's nice because the chiropractor, for example, they're not paying us for SEO and all, they're just paying us for results. And the thing I like about it, being in local marketing with clients and stuff, is I get to dictate what we do. I don't have to sit there and think, because if I'm doing SEO and I burn my own lead page, then it's my own lead page. If I'm doing it for an established chiropractic office and I do one thing wrong or Google changes, now I have to listen to them and what's going on, and they dictate a lot. Versus in the leads business, I could put up any video I want. My old job is to get people to call a phone number, and so it's worked really well for us. We like that model because it gives us freedom to do what we want to do and to know what works. And so if I want to retarget off of that and run ads on Facebook, I can do that. If I have a client that they may not allow that, they may not want to do that because they don't have a budget or whatever, but yet if they don't get results that they want, then I'm always to blame. And so we kind of avoid that with the leads business.
Oh, so that's a totally different perspective on that, and that actually makes a lot more sense. Now I'm rethinking the way I do things here. So
doesn't mean he's not lazy.
That's right. Doesn't mean I'm not lazy. In fact, that might help.
You think Ray's lazy. You should see me, Mike. I'm really lazy. So tell us a little bit about what Maverick Web Marketing does, because when I think of Fireman, Mike, I think about the leads for it was the painter. That was your first one, wasn't it? It was the painting contractor. Right. And that's like 2009 or something like that. So tell us about your company and what you all are doing.
Well, we now are basically a full-service digital marketing company, and we service small to medium-sized businesses who really want to do well online but haven't in the past. And so in order to do that, we have several different ways we do it. And we really still cater to the local business. We do have some international businesses, some stuff like that. But typically what we are geared towards is how do we help a business win in a local area? Now, we have clients across the country. We have franchise clients, so we do stuff for all of their local businesses. But at the core of the game, it's still a local business. And so if you look across the spectrum of what does a local business need, and I think especially in our industry where the competitiveness of a market is vast, whereas a 15-year-old with a laptop in a third world country can technically compete with me. So what we do is we looked at that landscape and said, okay, if a local business owner wanted a website, they could go outsource it themselves, or they could come through us, and we can facilitate that for them. If they wanted to hire a marketing director, they're looking at $70,000, $60,000, $20,000, $30,000 if it's a horrible marketing director. Well, what if they were to invest that same money into one company that manages their marketing for them and does a good job at it? And so what we do is we have in our company kind of core things that we do. So we do build websites, but we're not really a web designer. We're marketers who build websites that know how to convert. We do video because every website, if a local business is going to have a website, they should have video. If you're in a local business, you should be on YouTube. You should be on Facebook. And so we really just serve as a partner to the local business in helping them with the digital side of things. But we don't just focus on, a lot of businesses, all they do is SEO. Well, I personally think SEO is a very dangerous game, especially where you look at what's happening now with reviews. If a business is spending $2,000 a month to get to the top of Google, and they've been doing that for a long time, and then they get a bad review, they've just invested a ton of money to educate everybody about how bad they are. But nobody's really talking to businesses about that. So we kind of look at the way we do things as outside the box. We kind of look at it as what does a business need to succeed and what are the pitfalls, and let's fill that for them. And then we have a team of people here in their respective areas. So I have a web development department. I have a video production and creative department. I have a social media department. And in those respective areas, we help businesses be able to kind of navigate the digital landscape for effective results.
Excellent.
Now, let me ask you this, going back to that a little bit, because I'm loving what I'm hearing here, and it's good to hear it again, going back here, because like I said, I've kind of avoided some of that stuff and kind of focused more on working directly with the client most of the time. Now, when you create your sites, and I'm talking about your lead generation sites, mm-hmm. How are you branding those? Is it just Albuquerque pet groomer, and it's just kind of a generic site, or do you actually, the person that you're partnered with, do you actually put their name in there at all?
So what we do is we'll create a generic site with a generic domain name, And then once we partner with somebody, then we will go ahead and put in their logo and kind of customize it for them. And it's great because now there's a pain of disconnect. They have, they're getting calls, they're getting leads, their logo's on it. But if they were to ever stop paying, we don't have a whole lot of work to do. Then we just go to the next guy, switch out the logo, switch out some of the content, and start sending leads somewhere else. And typically the types of businesses that buy leads are the ones who are not doing well in search. Because if you're doing well in search, you don't necessarily need us, although we do have companies that have hired us because they're like, well, I'm doing well, but why would I turn down a lead if it's going to convert?
Right.
So it works well. But typically those who do a lead deal with us, they're not getting the traffic that they want from the internet for whatever reason. Maybe they haven't invested, maybe they've had just bad help, but they know that there's a viable source there, and we provide ready basically almost instant traffic from the internet, and so they just see a whole lot of value in partnering with us and using our asset that way.
Nice.
Typically, who do you work with? What segments? Anybody?
We will work with anybody. However, local contractors has really been our niche. And I think the reason why is, number one, I can connect with them really well. I think firefighters a blue collar job.
Yeah.
So I connect with them well. Number two, those guys, live and die by leads coming in and their reputation. So I think they really, really understand it. And the other thing is the competition is not super fierce. If I go and try to rank for, personal injury attorney, I'm having to invest a ton of my own time, energy, and money to do that. And then I kind of have to deal with an attorney who's always going to be giving me grief and want things done their way. And the whole point of selling leads is I want to do it my way. And the contractors are very amicable to, hey, I just want my phone to ring. I don't really care what you're doing to make that happen. Mm-hmm. And so that's worked really well for us.
Do you do anything with attorneys?
I do. We do.
Yeah.
We do video for attorneys and have done really well in that regard. But as far as like SEO and stuff, we don't really touch that with attorneys. We've helped some out, but that's just not really our niche.
How about the lead thing?
The lead thing we haven't. Again, we really just tried to stay in the contractor blue collar type space overall, just because it's worked best for us. And those guys are kind of conditioned. I mean, with Home Advisor.
Oh, sure, yeah,
some
absolutely.
other ones. They're used to that. And here's another way that we've gotten clients in that regard is you just go find Home Advisor, you fill it out, and they give you 8 or 9. Well, they don't give it to you. 8 or 9 different people call you because they share the lead, and so those guys are paying for the lead. And you go, look, what if I made a deal with just you and I wouldn't share the lead? They go, let's talk, because they're already paying for that service.
Well, and the reason I was asking about attorneys, that's what I specialize in prospecting, okay. And then I pass it off to people. So, and I know attorneys can be real buttheads, control freaks. But I'm a butthead and I'm a control freak, so I relate well to. Actually, I'm not a control freak, but I'm a butthead, and so I can relate well to them. So that's why I was asking about the lead thing with attorneys. So I had an ulterior motive.
Now, I do have a question here from somebody. They want to know who you mentioned call tracking. Who are you using for call tracking?
We use a service called Analytic Call Tracking.
Nice.
And they've built it where, again, it tracks the 30 seconds and the drop-offs, and if you want, you can record it. We typically do record the calls. You wouldn't really want to do that necessarily in a medical niche because of HIPAA and stuff, but, for the average person calling in, because some of our clients aren't just the contractor answering the phone. They have other people answering the phone, and it's important to record those calls if you're getting paid on performance, because just because the call came in doesn't mean it's not a viable lead, but whoever's answering the call could be the real problem.
Right.
And so you're able to kind of sniff that type of stuff out. So it's a good all-encompassing service that works well for us.
Very cool. And one of the problems that I've always seen is because what I've used in the past, I've used Twilio, but that was more for just having a number that could just be forwarded. and I wasn't selling per lead. I would forward the number to the person, and the person would pay a monthly fee, and then if they didn't pay, then I'd switch it to somebody else.
Yep.
But obviously, that's a very limited service, so I think that's really good advice to kind of know a company that can really help out with that. So that's great. Now, let me ask you this. Let's play a little role-playing here because I think this will be kind of fun. As most people listening probably know, I just moved to a new city, and it's actually a pretty good-sized city. So we've got our own, movie theaters and stores and lawyers and restaurants and chiropractors and everything else in between. So if you were to move into a new city,
paved roads.
Okay. I am living in a city right now where we have red lights. Stoplights.
Red light district?
No.
Stoplights. Okay. And internet service. You've got internet service, high speed.
We do.
Internet service. Yeah. He had DSL before, Mike, and so
wow.
that was a constant source of frustration for him, and of course we mocked him often because.
Well, absolutely, yeah. I mean, when you have a friend on DSL, I mean, literally, at least daily, you need to send them screenshots of your speed test just to remind them about.
That's right.
That they're missing out on it.
Well, we didn't have to do that because Ray was daily putting screenshots of his speed test on Facebook.
Oh.
He was so pissed.
0.4 megabytes per second sometimes.
Nice. I'm an internet marketer. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was good stuff. I actually ran the business off of my cell phone sometimes because that was actually surprisingly. I was shocked. I didn't realize how fast 4G actually was until I had to do that a few times. But I was getting a 30 megabyte down.
So now that's all been corrected. You upload a video and it doesn't take a day.
Wow, I'll tell you, that is the amazing thing. I uploaded a video that was 120 megs the other day, and I just watched it go, done. So that floored me. I was excited about that.
Absolutely.
But now, just for role-playing purposes here, and for those who are listening to what you're saying and going, wow, this is really cool, if you were to move into a new city like I just did, how would you start your business? What would you do to get things going?
If I were to move into a new city, the first thing I would do is I'd go, who's already advertising? And I would look around and I'd look at billboards and newspapers and magazines and TV and radio. And I would just start looking at who's already spending money on their advertising. And then I would go and talk to them about ways that we could leverage technology to help extend their ad spend. Because the problem so many local businesses have is they're spending all this time, energy, and effort on these things, and they have no way to extend them. So, for example, you'll see a billboard or something like that. They're trying to get people to their website, yet you go to their website and they're not doing Facebook retargeting. Well, that's a very, very simple service, and it's very easy to show the business owner that if you're trying to get people to your website and they leave, you've got to reinvest all the time, energy, and effort to get them back. Versus if you're doing simple retargeting, all you have to do is put that on and pay, and as people are going to your site, now you have an opportunity to stay in front of them for up to 6 months. So I would start right there, and then I would start looking at how else can we improve the advertising. It's amazing that, one of the things we have 5 rules for what local businesses need on their website, and one of them, our first rule, is upper right, big and bright. And what that refers to is the phone number. Every local business should have their phone number in the upper right-hand corner of the site, really big and really bright, so it shows up. But so many of them don't have it. So we start talking to them about, look, I don't want to redesign your website. I just want to tweak a couple of things to help you and really try to get into a retainer-based service. I really don't like one-off work for local businesses because it's an ongoing thing if they're going to be doing digital marketing or online marketing, and really work to get myself in a position where I get a retainer for helping them with their marketing online, and then slowly transition into other things like, hey, we should put some videos on your website. We can put this video on YouTube. And I think what happens is us as internet marketers, this stuff it's not exciting, it's not sexy, but to a local business who doesn't really have a trusted advisor, it's huge. And so I would just find people who are advertising and work on trying to become their trusted advisor for a monthly fee, and then as I gain their trust, increase their monthly fee and bring them more results.
Nice. So you'd go straight for the services versus the lead selling.
Yes. 'Cause the great thing about lead selling is once it's up and running, it's up and running. The bad thing about lead selling is it takes a while to get those properties in place, unless you're going to do pay-per-click. But in a lot of local industries, what you can get for a lead versus what you're spending on pay-per-click, the ROI is just not there. So then you're going to have to wait for a website to rank, and literally that in some areas that could take a couple of months to go from start to getting leads, and it's just.
Or if I was doing it a couple of years or never.
Yeah, exactly. So I really think partnering with somebody and becoming a trusted advisor is the quickest way to get going.
Beautiful. Oh, that's really interesting. I appreciate you doing that. I think that's very helpful to people. So as you may know, our guest is Fireman Mike, and he's here talking to us about local marketing and all the great things that he's been doing out in the deserts of New Mexico out there.
So now, what's the college team in town? It's New Mexico, right?
Yeah, the Lobos.
Yeah,
Lobos.
Bob Davies, the coach.
Yeah, it used to be.
Oh, he's not the coach anymore?
No, we're a few coaches removed from him.
Oh, geez, I guess I wasn't keeping up.
Yeah,
wow.
Craig Neal is the guy now. So.
And is he the new coach this year?
He's been here a couple of years now.
Oh, he has. Oh, okay.
Our other coach left to UCLA, and Craig filled the spot. So.
Oh, okay. Bob Davey didn't last very long.
I don't remember. I wasn't a huge Lobo fan at the time. But yeah, well, I don't remember him, to be honest.
It's a tough place to coach. It is. Yeah, Tony Samuels was coach there at one time from Nebraska, who was played at Nebraska and was a big Nebraska guy, and he had some good seasons, but then he didn't, and so then another coach was brought in. So, and it is the radio show about video. And the Lobos.
And the Lobos. The Lobos.
Do you go to any games?
I do. I try to catch several games this season. I really enjoy. I'm a huge basketball fan, so.
Oh, okay.
I love going.
And they play a bowl game in Albuquerque too. It's like the first bowl game of the year, of the season, I think.
They do. Yep.
Yeah. So.
And one of the funny things that has happened because of my business, I'm not a soccer fan, and I know instantly people hate me and want to throw stuff at me. I'm just not a soccer fan. I'm a basketball fan.
Oh, okay.
Because of what we've done in our business and, working with a bunch of local businesses and business owners, a minor league soccer team started in our town last year, and they came to me and asked, if I wanted to be an investor, and I really didn't because I'm not a soccer fan. And they go, well, we really want your marketing. What can we do? And so I became part owner of this minor league soccer team, and using just solid principles of internet marketing, we were able to, out of a league of 64, as a rookie team, we were 12th in the league in attendance, that's a huge deal.
Wow, yeah.
To be able to do, and we were up for Rookie Franchise of the Year. And
how many teams? 12?
64.
Oh.
So it really is a big deal.
That's even better.
So, and again, I never really thought I'd be, involved in that. But, that opportunity came about. There's a new minor league football team that is starting in town, and they've contacted us and go, hey, will you do for us what you did for them? And so it's interesting. I'm now getting, pieces of the one sports team so far. We'll see if the other one happens. But it's just interesting. I would have never in a million years thought of that. But it's just because of what we've done in our marketing business and because of using, video to brand myself and my knowledge, because I have a ton of videos out there. I mean, that's really helped us. And that's an opportunity that came about that we would have never expected,
So do you have to do any cold calls anymore?
I don't. No, I've been really fortunate.
I think Ray asked that before, but yeah, I'm just talking pounding the phones type of cold calls.
And I've really been fortunate. I've never really done that in my business. I've spoken. I've put stuff out there and used the I'll only work with one of you. Oh, we're meeting, great. Just so happens I'm meeting with your competitor in an hour. I've done a lot of that, but never really cold calls. It's just never been my thing, and I've always been able to at least do other things. So at least if I was calling, it's not a cold call. They've seen something from me. They've gotten something from me, some piece of educational content or something like that.
And I think it can't be understated what you're talking about there with that, contacting them and saying, hey, somebody's going to take this, might as well be you sort of attitude with it. Because every time I've done that, I have had somebody on the phone within an hour.
Yeah.
Every single time. And why I don't do that 20 times a day, I don't know, but...
Right. Well, and what's happened to us is, I've had people who, they're mad at me as they're writing the check because they don't really even want to work with me, but they're writing the check. It's like an insurance policy that I won't go work with somebody else.
Right.
Because, they tend to go, oh, I don't want that, but I really don't want my competitor to have that, because what if it does work like you're saying? Because trust is the major thing in our industry. It's just a lack of trust. So if it really does work the way we're saying, and I were to go to a competitor, that gets pretty scary. And so, it works very well to play people against each other that way. and one thing, I have seen local marketers do that, and then they totally screw up their business because then they do go to somebody else, and they end up breaching that trust.
And
that's just suicide in our industry. Especially a local town where everybody starts to know you. It's so
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but the local niches, the zip codes and the smaller towns and stuff like that, it's still possible to get a video on page one relatively easily.
Yeah.
And they'll buy that. It's kind of like Warren Buffett buying the Omaha World Herald, not so much because of the Omaha coverage, although that was important, but because of all the small town newspapers that they own in Nebraska and Iowa. Mm-hmm. And those areas still do very well with so many kinds of marketing products and programs, whether it be newspapers or ranking a video on page one, that don't work in the larger markets as well anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
For one reason or another. So that's important to know.
Well, and I think the other thing too that a lot of people miss that still works well for us is it may be more difficult to get a video ranked for, Phoenix plumber, but there's long tail keywords that aren't as hard to get a video for. So Phoenix emergency water heater repair, you could still do that and drive some decent leads that would get an ROI for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and the other thing, too, and I tell people this all the time, is, if you're going after Phoenix, find out what all the small little neighborhoods around it are. Mm-hmm. Because nobody's targeting those most of the time, and that's where...
That's what I do.
If you think about it, people say all the time, well, this city has, 1 million people that live in it. Well, really, do they? I bet you, at least half of those don't live in the city. They live in the major metropolitan area in, some small name sub area there, and nobody goes after those types of things. They'd rather go after Phoenix rather than Johnstown. I'm making that up, so if anybody is looking it up, there's no such place as far as I know.
Yeah, it's Pennsylvania.
Well, no, there's a Johnstown. I'm saying in Arizona there.
Oh,
but the point being is that you can get these little cities, and they're a lot easier to rank for, and that's where the people actually live most of the time. So if they're searching, that's their zip code, but they're looking for a DUI attorney in the big city, mm-hmm. but they technically are over here, and they're going to show up there. It just makes a lot of sense to go after those as well, which is why I tell people.
Tip of the week
don't just
with Ray the Video Guy.
What in the world?
5minutesite.com. I was just being a wise ass, sorry. But 5minutesite.com. You can get all those neighborhoods and stuff.
Yeah,
the little towns and stuff like that. Yeah, 5minutesite.com. So
like for instance, I'm looking at a map of where I live here, and the big area is Lake Elsinore, but there's Canyon Lake right next to it. There's Lakeland Village, and these are tiny little hamlets, I guess, for lack of a better word. And, you can go after a lot of these things, and then there's other cities right around it. And I don't know if, for instance, Menifee, I don't know if that's a bigger or smaller town. I don't know enough about the area yet, but there's a lot of these things that you can go after, Wildemar and places that you've never heard of. And that's a definite way to be able to grab some extra views, some extra people, some extra clicks and things of that nature, and really make a big difference for somebody because they've probably never thought of going after these things.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. And I think, too, like another great way to do, make money with video that we've been really been able to leverage is you look at who's doing pay-per-click, and if you look at, if they're going after, again, Phoenix Emergency Plumber, and you click on that pay-per-click ad and it goes to a landing page, one of the easiest ways to make money and help people make money is to shoot a video just about Phoenix Emergency Plumber, put it on that landing page where they're sending the pay-per-click through, the pay-per-click traffic to. I mean, just things like that. And I think marketers are lazy overall.
Oh, yeah.
And so we go, oh, well, we'll just put it on YouTube, and then if it doesn't work, then we'll move on to the next thing. Well, there's still a lot of ways to help local businesses with video, and being able to, put a video. For example, we had a client that they booked their medical office. They booked people in like an alternative health office, and they were getting a lot of cancellations. Well, all we did was put a video on the thank you page reselling the benefits of the appointment, and their cancellations dropped. They made a ton of money just because we were able to reduce their cancellations. Now, to us marketers, that's not a sexy video. That's not fun. That's not exciting. But money is fun, and money is exciting, and it works,
Well, and some other creative out-of-the-box things, we've recently started doing a lot more retargeting videos. So videos where they're on another page and the video pops up and it says, hey, I know you went to our website earlier. If you're looking for this, or this, remember, we've got free consultations, so give us a call. So the video is following them around, and it's very specific to them. Yeah. And the other big thing that we've done in the past is what we call back-end videos. So, for instance, with our bankruptcy clients, videos in the back end after they become a client, giving them all the information they need. And that's a ton of videos.
Yeah.
Hey, about 2 weeks from the time you sign up, you're going to get a letter in the mail that says this, or this. Don't worry, we're going to get a copy too. You don't need to call us. Just put it on file and, blah, 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 whatever. And what we found with that is that stops the 872 phone calls every day from people asking dumb questions. And I shouldn't say dumb questions because they're not really dumb questions, but, to the attorney it is a dumb question. And
it's an FAQ.
Yeah, and they have to answer all those questions. So we put all these videos into the back end of their system. So after they become a client, they get drip-fed these videos that give them information on what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. And, and it cut back on those got-a-minute phone calls that take up all the time.
No, absolutely. And that's huge. And so many people don't pay attention to that.
And it's, it's a tougher sell, obviously, because it's not directly making them money. But if they understand it and you put it in as part of a bigger deal, it can really help them out. And so that's, that's one thing you can definitely do with that is kind of help them to get their life back, as we like to say.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
Reminds me of a joke when I was in college. We were at a Ask the Pros days, where you could, we could all go interview a professional in some arena, and it was the weather guy at the local TV station, And so I said, hey, look, I hate to ask a dumb question. And the weather guy pops in and says, look, Steve, I got to tell you, there's no such thing as a dumb question. And my buddy sitting next to me says, yeah, you don't know Sleeper. He asks a lot of dumb questions. And I said, yeah, see? I get no respect. But, there's the takeaway, though, is, Mike and Ray, there's so many ways to make money with videos, with online marketing services, It's just amazing.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just a matter of figuring out exactly what the people need and solving a certain problem that they have. And that's, in most cases, solving the problem of getting more leads. And in other cases, it's solving the problem of getting more time or getting information to their clients, or, it could be, one thing that we found, and here's another use of video, what we found with one place is something that was mentioned earlier. They were getting leads, but they weren't converting the leads. And, of course, who do they want to blame when they're not making money is the person who sent them the leads.
Right.
Well, in reality, it was the grouchy person answering the phone, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we provided videos and services on how to answer the phone and how to make sure that, you know, you're for every, 50 people that call, that you're retaining, 30 or 40 of them instead of 2 or 3. And so that's another way that can really make a big difference because, as they say, there's 3 ways to make more money. You get more clients, sell those clients more stuff, or sell them higher priced stuff. Well, it's very similar with leads. You either send more leads or you convert more of those leads, and helping them convert the leads is just as profitable.
Yep, absolutely.
I always find that if you answer the phone, what? Not good. Actually, I haven't said anything totally inappropriate today, Ray. That's normally my job, Mike, to produce the show, do the news, and then just say inappropriate things about race, sexual orientation, or whatever.
Well, hello.
Good color commentary, huh?
Yeah.
Off-color commentary.
Off-color commentary.
Color commentary, yeah.
And Ray's just numb to it. He doesn't even pay attention. So.
What'd you say?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's like most people around me. They just ignore me.
But we have a good time, and we learn a lot. Hopefully everybody's learned a lot. That's what we strive for.
So Mike, you think we covered it all? Everything that Fireman Mike's doing these days?
I think so. It's hard to say that it won't change by next week, though, because as you know, the internet and our industry changes. But yeah, I definitely think so. And I agree with you. I think there's so much opportunity because of the internet and because of, in my world, local businesses who really just need help on the internet. There's just a ton of opportunity out there.
Well, and last time I checked, it's the only media that is growing, unlike direct mail, newspapers, TV, radio.
Right.
It is actually growing. I think the rest of them are either constricting or are at best flat.
Yep.
And there's so many opportunities to be creative. There's just so many ways to make money. And if I wasn't so lazy, I'd do it. But
yeah.
Ray, do you have a tip of the week?
Well, kind of. We already addressed it a little bit, but I do want to hit it a little bit more because it is important these days.
And now, tip of the week with Ray, the video guy.
Yes, and I believe last week's tip of the week was the 5-minute website, wasn't it?
5minutesite.com. Yeah, that was one of them. We had a whole bunch of tips of the week. Last week, Mike, I kept playing this thing right here. I played it like 10 times. Tip of the week with Ray, the video guy.
That's right.
That goes on for about 10 minutes. So.
Yes. Well, the tip of the week is an easy one. We already touched upon it, and it's very important. It is the YouTube cards. If you were listening to us earlier and kind of wondering what in the world YouTube cards are, or you weren't with us last week when we talked about it a little bit in our news segment, well, YouTube cards is a new function that's been added to YouTube that allows you to add some interactivity to your videos. All you have to do is go inside of your Creator Studio, that's the back end of your YouTube, choose your videos, and you can hit the little cards button. Or if you're in the edit mode of your video, you'll see the little, it looks like a circle with an eye in it. It says cards. Just click on that, and you'll see you can add cards, which are basically just little graphics that they look like they're rectangles, but they're actually squares. And you drop in a little graphic of a product or service, add a title, and add some information, and that's pretty much it. It's actually a lot easier to use than the old annotations, even though the old annotations are very, very useful. And it just allows you to lead people to up to 5 different things in your videos, and it allows them to click on them And just like with annotations, they can go to other videos, they can go to playlists, they can go to merch accounts, they can go to your website, and they can go to fundraising projects. So there you go. That is YouTube Cards. So check it out. Go into the back end of your YouTube account and look for Cards and play around with it, because it is the future, because it works on mobile. So there you go.
And I'll in the show notes, I'll post that link to the RealSEO.com tutorial on Cards. It's
wonderful.
It's a nice little tutorial. Okay.
Yes, it is.
And I guess that's about it.
That is it for another week. So first of all, we want to thank Fireman Mike for joining us. We appreciate him coming in here and talking about this. But before we let you go, Mike, how can people learn more? Do you have?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Do you have any training or anything that people can learn from you?
You know, so our website and our Facebook page are probably the best. MaverickWebMarketing.com. And for everybody who looks at the site and goes, "Oh my gosh, we're redoing it," don't worry. We just kind of ignored. Once we decided we were redoing our site, we just ignored the other ones. So, and then also our Facebook page, Facebook.com/MaverickWebMarketing. And then, if somebody really wants to follow kind of more of the educational base of what I do, MikeLeMoine.com is, we had a weekly web TV show. We kind of stopped for a while, but we're getting ready to relaunch that. And there's just a lot of really good content on how to market, how local businesses can succeed on the internet.
Nice.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, well, that's good. It's exciting stuff, because you've been doing this for probably longer than just about anybody I can think of. You were kind of the first big guy to really jump in and get all this kind of stuff going. So if you're really looking to build a business and you want to learn more about video marketing and local marketing, then this is the guy to speak to, because he knows what he's talking about. He's been doing it forever. And he's still around.
He's still alive. It's the online marketing radio show, Video Marketing Madness with Ray the Video Guy. I'm Steve Sleeper. Our guest today again has been Fireman Mike. Today's show made possible by
AWeber. AWeber is the easy way to do email marketing, to collect leads, and to create newsletters for your business. If you want to learn how to do this, head on over to raythevideoguy.com/AWeber.
And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Video Marketing Madness. Get plenty of useful tips and news of the week. I post about 3 or 4, I think, good articles there on a daily basis, pretty much. And Ray's Facebook Mastermind group is groups/online video marketers. Get views for your videos and questions answered.
Yes.
I think that's it. We'll be back next week. We may have Tommy Powers on the show next week.
We're still working on what day, but he will be on at some point shortly. So
at some point, yeah. So he is the guru of AdWords. Although some people don't like
video AdWords is the big thing with him. So he is great with both. But
yeah, he's great with but video, yeah, absolutely. He spoke at Vid Summit out in L.A. last fall about the ways to make money with video AdWords, with the True Views. And so if we don't have him next week, we'll have him on a future show. He already said he'd like to be on.
Excellent.
He reminds me of Charles Barkley.
I'm sure he'd appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap her up with the jingle.
He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy. His skill is where it's at, even if he's a little fat. He's filled with video expertise and has so much knowledge that you need. His YouTube ninja tricks can make your marketing so sick. He's Ray the Video Guy, yeah, Ray the Video Guy.